The Tuesday morning rush at the daily grind was a symphony of chaos I'd grown accustomed to. The hiss of the espresso machine, the clatter of ceramic on saucers, the low hum of conversations, it was the soundtrack to my PI work ritual. I was just another suit in the crowd, waiting for my usual, a large black Americano, no room for cream. My eyes were glued to my phone, scrolling through an endless stream of emails that had piled up overnight. The world outside my little screen barely registered. That is, until she walked in. It wasn't a dramatic, movie-like entrance with slow motion and a wind machine. The bell above the door just gave a gentle jingle, and there she was. She had this vibrant red scarf draped around her neck, a stark contrast to the sea of grey and black coats. Her hair was a cascade of dark curls that bounced with every step, and she was clutching a worn, leather-bound book to her chest like it was a precious treasure. She joined the line, a few people behind me, and I found myself stealing glances, trying not to be obvious. She wasn't looking at her phone. Instead, her eyes darted around the coffee shop, taking in the art on the walls, the steam rising from the mugs, the focused faces of people typing on laptops. She seemed to be genuinely present, a rare sight these days. "Large Americano for Alex," the barista called out. That was my cue. I grabbed my coffee, but instead of heading straight for the door like I usually did, I hesitated. I found an empty two-person table near the window, telling myself it was just to answer one more urgent email before heading to the office. A total lie, of course. I just wanted a few more minutes in the same room as the woman with the red scarf. I sat down, opened my laptop, and pretended to be busy. A few minutes later, she got her drink a latte, from the looks of the foamy art on top, and scanned the room for a seat. My heart did a little drum solo against my ribs. The only available spot was the chair opposite me. She approached my table, a little hesitantly. "Excuse me," she said, her voice softer than I expected. "Is this seat taken?" I looked up, trying to appear nonchalantly surprised. "Oh, no, not at all. Go ahead." "Thanks," she said with a warm smile that made the corner of her eyes crinkle. She settled into the chair, placing her book and her latte on the table. The book's cover was blank, no title, which only deepened my curiosity. We sat in silence for a moment, the comfortable quiet of strangers sharing a small space. I typed a few meaningless sentences on my keyboard, my mind completely blank. All I could think about was how to start a conversation without sounding like I'd been waiting for this exact moment. She saved me the trouble. "That's a lot of emails for this early in the morning," she commented, nodding towards my screen. I chuckled, relieved. "You have no idea. It's the beast that never sleeps." I closed my laptop, deciding to abandon all pretense of work. "I'm Alex, by the way." "Mia," she replied, extending a hand across the table. Her handshake was firm, confident. "Nice to meet you, Alex. Nice to meet you too, Mia. Is that what you're reading?" I asked, gesturing to the leather-bound book. She looked down at it, a fond expression on her face. "Oh, this? It's my journal. I try to write a little every morning. Helps clear my head before the day gets crazy." "A journal? That's impressive. I can barely remember to write a grocery list." Mia laughed, a light, melodic sound. "It's not always profound stuff. Sometimes it's just observations, like noting the guy across from me is trying to escape an avalanche of emails." I felt a blush creep up my neck. Guilty as charged. "So, I am going to be a character in your journal today?" "Maybe," she said, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "You'll have to wait for the published version to find out." The conversation flowed so easily after that, it felt like we'd known each other for years. I learned that Mia was a freelance illustrator, which explained her keen observational skills and the artistic flair in the way she dressed. She worked from home, or more often, from coffee shops, which she called her mobile offices. She loved the background noise. It helped her focus, she said. I told her about my job in finance, a world of numbers and spreadsheets that felt a million miles away from her creative life. I expected her to be bored, but she listened with genuine interest, asking questions that made me think about my work in ways I hadn't before. She didn't just ask what I did. She asked why I did it, what I enjoyed about it. "It sounds like you're a problem solver," she concluded after I explained a particularly complex project. "You find patterns in the chaos. It's not so different from drawing, you know. You start with a blank page, a mess of data, in your case, and you create order and meaning from it. No one had ever described my job like that. To most, it was just numbers. But she saw the art in it, and in that moment, I felt seen. We talked about everything and nothing. Favorite books, travel dreams, the questionable art on the coffee shop walls. We discovered a shared love for old black and white movies and a mutual dislike for cilantro. I glanced at my watch and was shocked to see that nearly an hour had passed. Wow, I am going to be so late for work, I said, though I felt no real urgency. The thought of leaving this conversation and returning to my spreadsheet-filled reality was incredibly unappealing. The email beast will have to wait, Mia said with a smile. Some things are more important. You were right about that. I agreed, my gaze meeting hers. There was a spark, an undeniable connection that hung in the air between us. It was more energizing than any amount of caffeine. Well, I said, finally summoning the will to move. I really should go. But I'd love to continue this conversation sometime. If you're open to it. My heart was pounding. This was the moment of truth. Mia's smile widened. I'd like that a lot. She picked up a napkin and pulled a pen from her bag. She scribbled something on it and pushed it across the table to me. Her phone number. Here, for when you escape the office. I took the napkin, folding it carefully and placing it in my pocket like it was a winning lottery ticket. I'll definitely be in touch. Very soon, I'll be waiting, she said. Maybe we can find a coffee shop with better art next time. It's a date, I said, the word slipping out before I could stop it. But I didn't regret it. As I walked out of the daily grind and into the crisp morning air, I wasn't thinking about the meetings I was late for or the emails I had to answer. I was just smiling. The chaos of the morning rush had faded away, replaced by a quiet, hopeful excitement. That Tuesday morning, I had walked into the coffee shop for my usual routine, but I walked out with a napkin that held the promise of something entirely new. And it all started because I looked up from my phone. It's funny how the most extraordinary things can happen on the most ordinary of days. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.